Right, today we've advanced it a little bit now because there's so much to do. We're going to paint all the fur on the dog this time, so there's going to be quite a lot of close-up work. There's a couple of different techniques for long fur and short fur. I'm going to try and go through that pretty quickly here now. First of all, we're going to go with the shorter fur, and this is how we make it look quite real. So we can get straight into it for the shorter fur. Say under here because it's quite short. Just very small touches there. Want to keep that shadowing in, so we've got to keep it light and dark. Just bring a little bit of a lighter shadow there. And a bit light around the eye there. And keeping that dark there, that sets the eye back, further back, and that's what I really want. I'm working this light against dark, and that allows the eye to be pushed back in a little bit. So as you can see with dark outside, we can then bring some light towards here. Quite long, painstaking work. And then what we do later on, we'll spray this black again, and then we'll go over it and make it stand out even more. On the nose, very fine. This is probably where the shortest hair on the dog is. And one thing you've got to maintain is the direction of the fur. You've got to keep it going. So then it tends to go out slightly more there, and it's just touching around here where it'll highlight. See, there's a light shadow there, which you've got a bluey colour against the black. Obviously the nose is all black, but this represents a light, and blue's a good light colour for black. So we can emphasise that in a few extra places, make it look even more 3D. Now I don't want to lose all that sort of bluey hint I've got there, but what I want to do is I want to put a third colour onto there, which is that bit of light to stand out just at the tips of the fur there, without losing any of this colour I've worked hard to put on. Now then, it's the same thing. She's quite white round here, but you still got to go through the same process. You cannot leave anything just plain white in the short fur. Now I already put a whiskers dots there already. Now we don't just sort of paint dots on, well, we do paint dots on, but what we do then, we bed them into the fur, so the fur just sort of goes round them, so you don't get a perfect circle, and we just bed some fur round there. Now there's one part of short fur I've left that's quite interesting, is just under the nose here. It comes in. You see I painted that blue all along, but now when I actually paint the fur over this blue, now the fur, bearing in mind it's got to go that way, conscious of that all the time, direction, don't just do it all the same. And we don't do it all uniform, all the same, otherwise you get like a load of little straight soldiers like that. So like, you don't go like that, you know, it's in a straight line. You've got to give it a few changes and make it interesting. Change direction of the fur, but still going the same way, if you understand what I mean. So the fur's actually going that way, but you've got to make the fur look a bit different. So the odd one will sort of come that way, but when you look at the fur, it'll just have that general direction. And you start seeing that blue now vanishing into the background now, and it'll just gives you a shadow colour there, which is really nice. So if you just take it up to the actual picture I'm copying, round that area, you can actually see where all that shadowing is under the nose, and that's what I brought down here. Now a little bit easier than that is a longer fur. I'm going to move on a little bit because we've such a lot to do. You can see all this got to do, and I've got to go over it all again, spray the colour on all this I've done, and then I've got to start all over again and paint all fur back all over again, and that makes it look a bit thicker. So on long fur, what it is now, the fur tends to come out here like this. It's quite long as you get to the end of the face. And the way we do that, I'm going to do it on the darker part. It does it here, but you can't see it too good on the camera. So I'm going to go on the darker part, sorry, and show you how it's done there. And it's just like a long stroke, and we sort of join it. And then we move on to another one. It goes the same general direction, not all the same size. But I hope my camera's really good and it's showing you how close this is. I'm going back over where that blue shadowing is. I'm letting the odd one stand out. Also, I don't want to lose the black fur under here. I want that to show, because it keeps a dark shadow, it keeps the colour. So when I spray this, I'll get a nice black, and it'll only going to spray the colour what I've scratched on here. And you see different shapes. It's generally going the same direction, but it's got a variation with it. Let's come up a bit there. And you see how it's looking quite nice, and it leads into this. She does actually have a white pat here, which shows the outside of her cheek there. So it's going light. So the colours I've sprayed on here are automatically making them that colour. So I don't have to stop spraying and then start going round to another part there. And now it's really giving it a proper shape now. Not only is this where the fur's a little bit longer, it's now showing the face narrowing in and coming out now, and it's starting to get quite a good 3D effect now. And I've just got to keep going and going and going. You know, start thinking about anything, you know, like just take your mind off and just get carried away, because there's no big concentration to this part. Oh, don't, like I said, don't try and do it all in a line like that. That's not what we want. Get in between them, you know, and vary it, and then you sort of join it up to make the fur look nice and thick without a lot of work. Don't work hard. Don't like working hard. And just keep remembering the direction of the fur as you're coming out. And that's coming on quite nice. And I go into that other colour. I'm not scared of going in that other colour. Just let it show through. Varying my strokes. I never know when I finish a stroke what I'm going to do with the next one. So it's all a bit random. Keep that going. You won't lose any of your black or your white there. It'll all stay there, because you've worked hard to get that on. Spent a lot of time building your picture up. And you keep going. And what I'll do where I'm going over this black part now, later on, I'll reinforce that. I'll just give it a little bit of a black spray there, over there. I think I've got a bit of dark in my airbrush at the minute, so I'll just go over that just to show you which is the one I want dark in now. It's this one. Up the down, don't want to do long. Okay. And just very lightly, just paint that dark. But dark where it is dark. Because the white here, I've got to just keep away from that a minute. And then what we do to thicken that, make it look really, really thick, over it again. I do this at a later stage. I don't keep doing in bits like this. I'll do it all the dog at one go. Then I'll come back and I'll start again. And I get in between all these bits of fur I'm doing now. Now you might be thinking, blimey, he's come a long way in this dog since that last video, and he's sort of done a lot and we've missed a lot of this out. But all this I'm doing here is just a repeat of all what's done here, except these are shorter strokes. And then what I'll do then on this stage, I'll go back to me picture here, and I'll start looking at little things where it's a bit lighter there and here, and I'll just go over it that little bit more again, just a tiny bit. Now when you've done a few pictures, you get quite quick at this, and the quicker you do it the better, and you see that it starts to stand out. Oh, did on that bit. On these I seem to have Rottweiler spots here on, but it shows very light on the pitch. It's very light at the top, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to go over it light again at the top just to lighten it up a bit more, and it makes them stand out more. Again, bearing in mind the direction of the fur, you're conscious of all the time. And look how thick that is. I mean, I don't know whether that camera's picking this up, but it's really, really thick there. And I'm getting all different colours going off inside it. It really stands out, that. I'm going to go to the other one while I'm doing it. One thing we're doing in these demonstration videos, you get a bit sidetracked and you're going from one place to another, but I just want to show you as much as I can, so I can move on with the painting. We get some more exciting parts where we're doing all inside the mouth and everything, which is going to be my next video after done this, you know, and doing his teeth. That's going to be a show on its own, that one. But now I'm going over where it's white. You still got to do it even though it's white, and it's quite long here now. Now the fur starts to come out quite long. You know, I can just, well, whatever you're doing, start worrying about all your other problems, how United are going to go on Saturday and things like that, and just carry on. Then you seem to get quite a bit farther. As you can see by the roughing out down here, I've not really cared how I've done that. It's just, I just know there's a few different colours, and that's all I do for what you call blocking in. I've got to also, once I get this done, remembering I've got that fur comes out like that. To make it thick, just join them and go over it a couple of times, and that'll thicken it. That'll make the fur go thicker. Let's do it just to show you how that'll work. So we're in the same general direction. Don't want too straight. And if you look at this part I've done now, look how it looks as though it's starting to layer now, isn't it? And the fur now it's starting to layer up, looking quite thick. And what I do to do that, I'll show you down here. I'll go with a piece of fur the length I want it, and then what I'll do, I'll just come above it and I'll start working into that to a point, just taking my time. I'll get a nice thick piece of fur, and then one will come at the side of it. Looks like it's going to be a longer piece, that. Nice and thick into the general direction. We can get another piece of fur which could go, I hope I don't ruin my picture doing this, longer one. It's always thicker at the top end, and it'll go to nothing, so we can have a really long bit there where it goes thick. Hey, no, I don't want to wreck my picture, so I'm going to sort of just come back to that. That was just to show you the ears. Now we've got black ears against a black background here, so what we're doing is I've just sort of outlined where I want to be, and then I'll just start working my way up. Fur gets a little bit longer as you get in the ears. Afraid it's like me when I get older, you get hair in your ears and it gets a bit longer. Hey, behave. Right, so just keep going. We start filling things up. Now the top part where you notice we've got a black dog here and a black background, and that's how you make it work. This blue works really, really well with the black, but if you want to stand it out, make it stand out a little bit, just highlight the top, a few loose hairs at the top at the top. See? And just so I don't want to mess this shape up, because it's not like a round head. It's just do a few loose ones, and then that just sort of works quite nice. The part we need to work on. Let's do a little bit on the nose. God, this is brave now. We've shown you the fur. I'm going to be doing detailing around here and detail around here, and then maybe we'll do the body after. We'll do it that way. On the nose now, we've got to look at the drawing. Now I'm going to pull the drawing down because it's. If I look at this nose, it's quite a lot of different sizes and shapes, and the actual photograph is not helping me here, so I've got to use this as I see it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick highlights out, like on the nose. It's bright there, so what I'm going to do now, I've got my background colour on where I think it's going to be, just above the nostril. I'm just going to pick dots out, and this will just texture it, puts a bit of a texture on, and it stops it looking. See how flat and smooth it, well, you don't know if you can see how flat and smooth it is, but I'll tell you it's flat and smooth, that. And we need to just sort of make it look as though it's a bit leathery, because that's what dogs' noses are like. There. So just picking highlights out now where it's a bit lighter. Comes round here, and it's reading your drawing. And if you look at where I've worked that shape, I've looked at my drawing about 4 times and done it once, because treat everything as a little bit at a time. Don't think, well, I've got that bit right, then I go to this bit and this bit. It's like the eye. Everybody will sort of do them round. They're not. I look at an eye for the shape of the eye. The first thing you get right. I work in 4 stages the eye. I'll go from there to there. Then I'll look what shape it is on the drawing, where it goes next, and then I'll follow it round again. And then I'll follow it to where it goes, making sure I'm in line with this. Follow that round there. And then I'll complete the shape of the eye. So that's basically what I'm saying, is that you just do one bit at a time. Don't look at a picture, think right, it's that shape, and just go and do it. Just keep looking at it all the time at what you're doing, and then you'll be close to what you're trying to achieve. You'll get it close, you know. So trust your eye, trust what you see. This one lightens up a little bit here, and what I'm going to do next, later on, I'm not going to do it right now, but I'll airbrush this in to a colour, and it'll look textured when I've done it, but you'll see it later on in the painting. Now then, there's a part under the nostril where it's quite light, so I'm going to bring that to life a little bit. Because I like it's underneath your nose, and then you have a funny black bit that goes to the end there, which I have to show, and that comes round. Sounds like somebody's moving the dustbins outside. And see that? And then here, which is near enough out of view, the nostril goes that way. I want to just lighten that bit, a tiny bit. It's only a little bit because this is the other side of his nose now. And then here, for some reason we have this funny bit in the middle. I'm just sort of going to highlight that a little bit. And then this will come round that way. So I'm creating a bit of a round shape there. Okay, back to the eyes, a little bit of detail on the eyes now. Here where it's light, coming round here. It goes right from the top there, near enough. Trust my eyes. If that's where it says it's light, then that's where it goes light. And I'm gonna put it on. Looking at my drawing again, it comes light round there, just that bit. bit flattish at the bottom, and then under here, it's not quite as light, but I like that, so I'm going to keep that because I think it shows another thing what she's looking at. Here, just a tiny bit there, because she's looking at something. That puts that bit of light on there. And then here it's lighter, so all I'm going to do is just going to stroke the knife. I want to try and keep that colour on, that light brown colour inside, but I just want to take a top layer of the paint off it. That's all I'm doing. Just a top layer of paint, no more. So it's not pure white, and that's looking pretty good. And then there's a white inner eye here, which is white. This does show the white of her eye, so I'm just going to highlight that a bit. Tell you what, I might not be doing much more work on that eye. I think that's pretty close. This eye, which is virtually, the picture's so bad that you know most people will struggle, but just on my own knowledge, I'm just going to lighten where I think. I know I'm somewhere near. This part of the eye doesn't stand out as much as that one, but you know, so I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to work it as hard. So I'm not going to make it stand out as much as the other eye. I just want it to be more subtle because you're looking at the face that way. Right. Those are a basic way we paint fur. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on do some more, and then the next time we come back we're going to put the tongue in the mouth and the teeth and the underneath of the head, and maybe just a little bit of work on the ears. So that's the next demonstration. Hope you join me for that. Right, I'll speak to you later. Thank you.